Aloha Aina, and welcome to Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future, brought to you by the Kiwani Foundation. I'm Ehu Kekahu Cardwell, and here we are today in Honolulu, and wait until you see who we have on the show for you. Let's go on over here and meet her. Meleanna.
Hello, my dear friend.
Aloha.
Aloha to you.
Meleanna Aluli Meyer. Did I say your name right?
That is what they say. Yes.
That's what they call you.
That's what they call me.
All
They
right,
call me,
very
but
good.
never late for dinner.
All right, very good. That makes two of us, a club of two.
Exactly.
Tell us where we are today. This is beautiful.
It is beautiful. We are at the garden, Liliuokalani Gardens in urban Honolulu, in Nu'uanu.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a lot of rain, so the river's running high today, and it's just really beautiful to be here.
Wow.
Yeah, it is very special.
Wow. Well, Meleanna, we wanted to have you on the show today because you're a native Hawaiian artist, aren't you?
Correct. Yes, I am.
And so you're a prolific native Hawaiian artist. You've done a lot of pieces, a lot of stuff, but stuff that's really remarkable. It's not like average stuff, it's great stuff. It's
Well,
like
it's
wow
only
stuff.
it's only great because I get to work with wonderful, extraordinary people. Because I really believe you can get a lot more done and create work that has impact as a group, as a collective. So
Okay.
that's been my i'ini. That's been my desire to work with the youth and then to work with my beloved friends who are also artists,
Mhm.
and also just to bring in, the issues that are most important to us.
Yeah. So in your work, you actually have subjects, topics, issues that show up again and again and again. Yes?
They do, absolutely.
Tell us what those are.
Equity issues, environmental, sustainability, building relationships, as in pilina, understanding mo'omeheu, which is this notion of culture, and then just support for where we are in Hawaii. This is us right here. We are this beautiful place, and it actually comes from a lot of our history. My own family history in terms of Grandpa and what he did, and great grand aunt Aima Navahi and Joseph Navahi, and my beloved cousins Emmett and Euclid Aluli. So we all have a little part to play. I think that's what it is, and I love that.
But there's somebody else who continually shows up in your artwork
Oh my
again and again.
goodness! Oh
Yes.
my goodness! How could I have missed her? The one and only, our beloved Queen. You mean?
Yes,
Oh my God!
yes,
Oh my God!
Liliuokalani.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I have her on my altar at home. I talk to her every day. She inspires me in her music, and just through all of her good deeds. I mean, yeah. So we're like this,
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Because you've done a tremendous amount of research on the Queen, yes?
I have. And I always wanted to, and I still am, I'm wanting to complete a short film on her, more as an ode or an honoring of all the things that she's done that inspire us. So in a way, it's a piece about her, but for her, about all of us doing the good work that we're doing. So there is a Liliu project underway.
Meleanna, it's no accident about where we are today, yes? This
Correct.
property
Correct.
used to belong to who?
To Liliuokalani, to our beloved Queen.
Wow.
And so much more was in her care for her people. And we just want our land back to do the work that we need to do on it, which is to take care of it. And I have to say, she was that exemplar for me and continues to be,
A role model, yes?
Absolutely,
Tell
in
us
all sorts of ways.
Tell us why she inspires you so much.
Well, you know what? Actually, most of all, because of her commitment to her people, her commitment to aloha, her commitment to truth-telling. And to me, that's the most important, because if we can just get people to understand the oia'i'o, the truth and the relevance of living our lives with that value that Hawaiians really walk with every day, then I think we'll all be better for it. And we're looking forward to getting our land back. And we're looking forward to righting the wrongs in terms of what the U.S. has perpetrated upon these islands and what it's taken. And there's so much healing that needs to be done. So it's very easy thing for me to say, hey, you know, the work continues is actually what I want to share. The work continues. And everybody has a part in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, she was alive over a century ago. She was
Correct.
Hawaii's last ruler. She traversed some very, very difficult places and times to make sure that her people were taken care of.
Correct.
Even though a foreign country, the U.S., was here,
Right.
she never surrendered. She actually lodged a protest,
That she did.
and she parked things so the Lahui, the nation, could.
In the future, do exactly what we're doing.
Yes.
And because she did not enter into conflict, we are not considered a belligerent nation by by international law. So we're allowed to do exactly what we're doing, which is to protest, which is to say, truthfully, we were not annexed legally. This is an illegal occupation, and it continues to be, and it's called a prolonged occupation.
When we say you're a Native Hawaiian artist, and the word artist comes up, I guess most people think of, well, there's a canvas and a painting on the wall.
Correct.
But art is way more than that.
It is. It's about murals. It's about creative thinking. It's about visioning. It's about teaching, educating the young ones. It's actually about making film,
Yeah.
writing. And since I've last talked to you, there's been a book out for educators, and there's been another 3 films done, and all relating to this work. And murals, probably about another 5 or 6 murals since I've seen you last.
Well, we're gonna, a little later in the show here, we're gonna see
Yeah, a
some
couple of
those
them.
works. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you seeing them because they're really all about the continuity of caring and sharing our voices and saying, hey, this message is the same because we want justice, and this is the truth. You know, this is a place that was taken, and we want people to know about it and to understand it enough to say it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to receive it back, and we want to care for her. She's our mother.
Yeah.
Mother Earth, you know?
It's a message that was voiced by her and others in her time period.
Correct.
But that message has stayed consistent and strong throughout the decades since, and is here today. And people like you and other artists here in Hawaii
Exactly.
have expressed it in today's time.
Exactly, and we see her message as medicine, you know, and it's not therapy. It's not a Western orientation to something that is external to us.
Right.
It belongs to us. She is within me in terms of heart and soul, and the work, and from my relations too, you know, from my family before. So I have to say the work continues is what it does. And Lili was all about this. This is like we're at this garden.
Yep.
In the beauty of this place, you know,
Yep.
and I just love it. I love being outdoors. I love honoring. I love everything about the beauty of Hawaii. You know?
Yeah, and she was about the sound of the river, the
birds,
wind
the winds.
coming through.
As a bard,
The
as a
yellow
musician,
butterfly.
exactly.
Yes.
As a bard, as a creator, as a composer. She was an artist.
Yes, she was.
And you know, people don't understand that about musicians. Of course, they're artists.
Yes.
You know, it's a different form, and it's something that I always would have loved to have done. But you know, the universe gives you what you're supposed to do, and then you do it.
Yes.
And that's what I want really the kids to know, is that we have to find our purpose in life. That is the most important thing. If we find what we love to do and make it purposeful in our life, then we're in good shape, you know? Because then that's something we can do every day for the rest of our lives.
Good.
You know?
All right, Meleanna, let's talk a little bit about some of the films you've done lately.
Mauna Kea. I'd love to share about Mauna Kea.
You did a film on Mauna Kea.
I did
the
recently.
resistance up there.
As an offering, actually.
Really?
For the Kia'i. We did about a 10 or 12 minute piece, Tom Kaufman and I, and David Kalama and Lisa Altieri. So our merry little group was fantastic. I did it because when we went up there, I went up there half a dozen times, and I said, you know, what is it that we can do that we can help with the Kia'i, with the protectors, to give them something so that they don't have to work so hard. They don't have to keep repeating themselves. So this was a gift and honoring.
Meleanna, you know, art is great to look at,
Yeah.
but there's also an experience of being in the presence of art, besides just looking at it.
Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
there's also an experience of creating art.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe you could say one of the biggest elements of that would be healing.
It is not only healing, but you take a look at where we are, for example, in this garden. This is a healing place.
Yes.
Not just because of the Queen, but because of where we are in nature, in the environment, in beauty, and all of that supports wellness. It does, because we have a chance to breathe differently, think different thoughts. We're far away from real problems when we come to a place like this. It's absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is what we all need a lot more of
Yes.
today, because we're all rushing around trying to do all these different things, and we just don't make enough time for this kind of work. This doesn't look like work, but this is work just to be present.
In a couple of minutes, we're going to jump in the car and go over and see some of your pieces that are on display for the public. And I guess our first stop is going to be over at the convention center when the APEC convention was there. And so tell us a little bit about what we're going to see.
In 2011, APEC came to Honolulu, and it was a frightening experience. It was like being in Iraq with the barricades that were 18 feet high, with all of you had no access into Waikiki. So the fact that we were even able to do our mural 2 weeks before they came was nothing short of miraculous. So what you're going to see is a lot of cultural maya symbolism in terms of visuals of the earth. We have the beautiful horizon of the earth, Awamo Kuleana, the carrying stick holding resources of the water and the land, and our beloved Poʻe Kanaka taking care of the land and the waters, and the seas and the skies, the resources, and being one with nature, as in nature. So it's that kind of a piece that is really created from an indigenous. And we were asked to bring and invite insights from all throughout the Pacific. So the piece is not just a Kanaka piece. The piece is a work that is very inclusive, and it has to do with everyone in the Pacific who honors these same kinds of traditions and protocols.
All right, and then after that, we're going to go over to the Bishop Museum and see a couple or two or three of your pieces there. Yes.
Right.
Tell us what this is about.
Hey, I want to share that this is a worldview, an indigenous worldview, and we, Kākou, were able to create it. This is 6 of us, 5 of us professional artists, alakai, another 20 students, and we did it in 2011 as a response before APEC came here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So hiding in plain sight, I didn't want to be outside of the building carrying my signs that said, think about the people, APEC, and you world leaders. So we put this on the inside. It has the arc of the world, the Awamo Kuleana, which is that carrying stick to take care of all of the resources of the water and the land. It has the Poʻe Kanaka up here all the way through, and that's all of us in the world, all indigenous and others who want to take care of the planet and love our resources, create relationships, and not be anything else but caring for the planet. So it's an amazing piece, and everything happens in a week's time. This piece was, we planned for it, and it took a couple months of doing all this research and pre-drawing and discussing. But when we were on project, we were on for a week's time. It was such an amazing adventure.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And on the right side, we have the Western tradition, the heart, the emotive traditions. Keakua in the middle, as always, spirit, beloved in the middle. And the Eastern traditions, the mysticism, and it just kind of like happened, like by serendipity, but not.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's 5 of us, Al Lagunero, Saul, Enos, Kahi Ching, Harinani Orm, and myself, with amazing alakai. And my dear sister Miley was our project lead manager for this. But it was a life-changing experience. These boards came here, and when they came, there are 16 of them. This is 64 by 10 feet. I had a little moment crying in the corner going, what did I get myself into? But here it is, you know.
Wow.
15 years later. It's glorious, and
Beautiful.
I just love it. So, yay. We have a chance to share some of the treasures at the Bishop Museum. We're here.
We're here at the Bishop Museum. I like
Yay.
that. Cool.
Yay, and here we are.
Here it is.
Yep, we responded to Kapihe's prophetic voice. E ihua no luna, e pi'ia no lalo, e huiana na moku, e kua na kapaia. So basically, this incredible piece of 40 boards, a ka'au, a full measure of something, was done as an offering to this place, to the people, most importantly. The Ike of this is so powerful because it was done by the community of this area. And so what was created was this beautiful pa, this beautiful ahu, and the people, the Kanaka, are holding it up.
Yes.
And Kapihe's ho'ohuli is this overturning. And so it's kind of great because I got to, as the final po'o of the design, we got to really work our images and what we think is important. And so this notion of voices of truth is so important to me because it gives us a chance to tell people what we want and what we see. So what's great is we have our ipu that hold our winds and our rains. We have the capes here, the 3 capes behind. We have the mailele that on the left side is from the fires of them burning our ki'i and the heva that went on, and now the love that we can hold for people. And then, of course, wonderful Carl Powell finishes, and there's no blue in here except for that one beautiful drop of water. And it's so deep and it's so beautiful because this piece was the first piece of contemporary work that was invited into this side of Hawaiian Hall. Aima Navahi and Joseph and the Queen's quilt is here. So all of this has relevance to us today because we're doing the work of getting our kingdom back. And the honest work of educating the people is really the most critical. And we're doing it through the arts.
We've come back, and boy, what did we see? My goodness.
You saw a lot of joy, a lot of beauty, and a lot of extraordinary storytelling.
Yes.
Visually, thank you.
Yes, and some beautiful pieces. Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were going to be that large.
I know, it's kind of surprising.
Right.
But murals happen to, be big pieces. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, those are amazing. Amazing pieces. One of the things that really struck me as I was standing there taking those in, Meleanna, is that art in Hawaii didn't just happen in the present time.
No, not at all.
The art and beautiful things of creation existed all the way back into ancient.
Yeah, pre-contact, absolutely.
Pre-contact.
Yeah, yeah.
The ancient Hawaiians did a lot of art, but I guess you could say that everything they did was art in one way or another. Yes.
Absolutely, because the aesthetic, the form, and the function of the work were perfectly married. And on top of that, I would always add the aesthetic, because the form itself had to do something to support the function. But on top of that, the aesthetic or the spirit and the look of the piece had to be extraordinary, whether it was feather work, whether it was carving, weaving, even gardening. If you think about that, all of these different forms are all an aesthetic experience to me.
Tapa.
Yes. Can you imagine all of these incredible patterns and they're actually, if you think about it, they're abstractions, but they're abstractions that speak to the beauty of the nature around. And all of those things are abstracted from nature. And that's
Yes.
actually, if you think about it, that's why for me, everything that we see today out here is just such a thrill. We are in one of the most beautiful places on the island here.
Meleanna, a couple of things that really struck me when I was standing there in the presence of this magnificent art that we saw
Right.
was two things. Number one is integrity,
Absolutely.
because both those pieces of art have tremendous integrity.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is balance. And I know integrity and balance are connected, but nevertheless, I felt both of those separately.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I realized immediately the minute I felt those was that integrity and balance were hugely important components of ancient Hawaiian society and culture.
And you know, they are today as well. And I think the through line in terms of art is to understand that. And it's not just the integrity or balance, it's actually, for me, it's an understanding of an aesthetic, because if you understand that beauty is an aspect of nature, as is an aspect of spirit, then you see why these all are embodied in each other and why they hold together, and you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually really critical because people don't understand that. You know, if you think about it, the arts are all about integration. They're all about making sense of the world around you. They're all about supporting the senses, and through the senses, and I don't mean 5 senses, I mean 6 senses, because we have that now, we have that Ike, Papalua, we have those other senses, as in, you know, not just the 5, but the things that artists have, which are beyond that.
Yeah, beyond the words.
Beyond the words, there we
Yeah,
go. Beyond
yeah.
the smell, beyond the taste, there's your intuition,
Yeah.
which is so important, because I don't think we as people would have made it this far, you know, crossing the oceans and doing things that were so intrepid.
Yes.
And that's part of the creative soul, you know?
Yep,
absolutely.
sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. So let's take that one step further, what you just said. They were on a journey. They came from one place and ended up in their new home, which
Exactly.
is Hawaii.
Yeah.
So what about the future? Do you think that journey can continue?
Oh, it absolutely will, of course. But it's going to continue here.
Right.
Long after we're gone,
Right.
we will be poe kanaka, all of us who commit to the place.
Right.
So it's really not about just koko, it's about the commitment that we have to caring for the land. And as our mother, that's the only thing that really matters, is how we care for her and how we care for each other.
What kind of role, I mean, how big a role, or maybe how small a role, will art play in all of that?
It should play a much larger role, because hopefully the systems, as in the educational system in particular, will be overturned, and we'll be able to orient not to an industrial model or something where all we're looking for are little worker bees. We're looking for creatives, we're looking for problem solvers, we're looking for ideators, we're looking for visionaries, we're looking for practical knowledge that will really help move humanity forward. And that's going to take a lot of creativity and art. So for me, that's what it's all about, and it should be part and parcel of everybody, their souls, their na'au, everything that they are. I mean, you're talking to an artist, I believe it, and I have to say, you know, I wouldn't be here without it. So.
Okay, all right. Meleanna, I guarantee you that there are some people watching this right now, and they just heard you say that,
Yeah.
and they're sitting there watching us saying, you know what?
What
I
can we
tried to create stuff. I tried to draw.
Yeah.
I'm lousy at this. I'm
Yeah,
never going to be an
it's
artist.
not-
What would you say to them?
I would say silly, because there's so much more than drawing. You know, be a poet. Pick up a dance step. You know, go take your mother out to listen to some music in the park. There's so many other ways, and I think that's what's really important. I'm glad you brought that up, because people think if I'm an artist, I have to draw. Well, that's silly. If you're a visual artist, yes, but if you're a singer and you have a beautiful voice, if you happen to be a maker with your hands and can create furniture, if you happen to be a gardener and you want to design a mala for your community, there are so many, there are innumerable ways to get involved in the world. But you got to have purpose, you got to have focus, and you got to have that i'imi, the desire to want to make a difference. Because then it makes the art form that much more valuable, because you have a kin or a relationship to it. And I'm telling you, this is an inspiration today, just to be here and to just remind everybody that you too are creative. And I believe that in my heart and soul.
Finding one's place where they can do art
Right.
in Hawaii can actually help move one step
The
closer
movement forward,
to the La Hui,
absolutely,
yes?
absolutely,
To the nation.
absolutely, because you're not just making, beautiful things. You're actually creating full concepts of visions for the future.
like what we saw.
Exactly.
That you did
Exactly.
at the convention center.
Exactly.
At the Bishop Museum.
At the Bishop Museum, in a book, on walls, and in concert halls. I mean, this isn't just for one group of people, because we're all creatives and we have to believe it.
Mhm.
So I do. And I'm really glad to have the time with you today.
That's where we have to leave it, Meleanna. Mahalo for being on Voices of Truth, coming back and saying aloha to us.
After all these years, I'm privileged and thrilled. Thank you.
Ditto.
Yay.
Ditto.
Mwah.
All right, and
All
to
right.
our viewers, mahalo for joining Meleanna and me right here. Remember, you can watch us on the web 24/7 on voicesoftruth.tv.com, and you can like Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future on Facebook. I'm Ehu Keikahu Cardwell for the Kiwani Foundation, and along with Meleanna here, until next time, ahui ho!
Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network.